In moments, my angle very clearly lays out why Trump's COVID response has actually saved the country. A Trump or Biden economy? That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, the World Health Organization has finally confirmed what we at the Ingram Angle have been telling you for months, that COVID lockdowns are horribly destructive, especially to the poor. Now, in light of this, it's time for another reality check and to realize how fortunate we are that Trump was in charge before, during, and after the pandemic hit. The politicized expert class has been wrong more than right. And President Trump was smart enough to follow his own America First instincts instead of their America Last default. And if the pro-Biden media toadies, if they think that the angle is going to let them get off the hook for their idiocy, think again, because it's flashback time.
If we can show this graph of the United States versus the European Union.
Europe has suppressed the virus, and we have not.
Europe crushed the curve to where it's now well below the U.S. and stable.
Well, that stability didn't last long. European nations entered lengthy lockdowns, and now they're experiencing a massive surge of COVID cases and even deaths. Well, we're steadily improving. We have been since about July. The only thing Europe crushed was its economy. The IMF's new GDP loss projections vindicate Trump's pro-America story. As you can see, the U.S. beats every other G7 member nation in managing the COVID fallout. Had we listened to Team Biden, we'd look like the UK, France, or Italy. Total disasters. Look at those numbers. You can take them off the screen now. All right. Well, the Eurozone as a whole lost a whopping 8.3%. Had we followed their lead, our economy would have lost, we did the calculations today, about $1.6 trillion instead of the $815 billion hit that we did take. Now, look, it wasn't pleasant, but Trump's reaction, his policies, saved us from a $770 billion loss. That's more than the GDP of Ohio. That's like taking Ohio out of our country for a year. Okay, but what about the future now? Let's look at that. Well, under Trump, it's so bright, as the song goes, well, you'd have to wear shades. Third quarter growth is going to be record-setting. Annualized, I think it's about 32%. And it would have been even higher if the petty tyrants running the blue states weren't dragging their feet on reopening their economies. Hello, California. Now, according to The Spectator, 14 out of the top 16 strongest economic recoveries are occurring in Republican-led states with conservative policies. Thank you very much. Where 12 out of 16 of the weakest recoveries are occurring in Democratic-led states, of course. Now, why doesn't the press ask Biden about any of this? Because they're acting as his comms team, that's why. Biden has no answer for any of this, God bless him, because there is no answer for this, and he's losing it. His lockdown, tax, and regulate approach to governance will lead us to financial ruin, people. He will punish success and reward failure. Now, the most persuasive case that Donald Trump and his surrogates can make for his reelection, it's the economic one. It really is. And he did this. He nailed this tonight in Pennsylvania.
In my first 3 years in office, family income increased by $6,000, more than 5 times the gains in all 8 years of the Obama administration. After our tax cuts took effect, wages for the lowest income Americans grew twice as fast as those near the top. African American income grew 9, not 2, not 3, 9 times more. And these are out of the book.
I mean, the crowd was wild because this is success. You cannot debate it. Just the jobs numbers and wage increases from Trump's first 3 years in office should be enough to convince every voter in America to support him. And what's Biden's answer to all this?
A Gallup reported last week 56% of Americans said that they were better off today than they were 4 years ago. So why should people who feel that they are better off today under the Trump administration vote for you?
Well, if they think that, they probably shouldn't. Well, their memory is not very good, quite frankly.
Wait a second. Is Biden questioning other people's memories? Didn't he just forget Mitt Romney's name? On nearly every key economic and COVID issue, Donald Trump has been proven correct and Biden proven wrong. And Biden, by the way, never learns. He just mumbles bromides about unity and dignity, and his handlers, meanwhile, plot to tear down what we love and to rob you of everything you've worked so hard for. I was thinking about this today. I know this. I know a lot of people out there feel this way. They feel like, well, Trump's a bully. He's too tough around the edges, rough around the edges. Those who call him a bully should remember what he's accomplished for them. Despite what he's been up against from day one, the deep state, corrupt Comey, the Mueller investigation, the Obamas, the Clintons, George Soros, a phony impeachment, the pro-China crowd on Wall Street, big tech billionaires, medical experts acting as political assassins, woke celebrities in sports and Hollywood, academia, and of course, a dishonest, far-left, hateful press. So the real bullies, they'll be people like Gretchen Whitmer or maybe Andrew Cuomo or J.B. Pritzker, and they'll be perhaps running a Biden DOJ or an EPA, Department of Education, and DHS. If Biden wins, you'll not only be pining for the good old days of record-setting wage growth, but for the fighter who, against all odds, achieved great things for America. And that's the angle.